Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I'm back with today's Timeless Tarot for September the 26th of 2025, but this is a Timeless Tarot reading, so whenever you find it is exactly when it was meant to find you. We will be pulling 8 cards from the Divine Feminine, 8 cards from the Divine Masculine, in accordance with the 8 human chakras and walking the path of the tarot so that we can get a better understanding of how best to manifest our highest timeline in accordance with Spirit. I've already done a pre-shuffle, but I like to get a couple more just to make sure everything is where it needs to be, and to take this opportunity to let you know that I am available for direct consultations at the link provided in the box down below. And now we will begin pulling in the base, and in the base we have the 7 of Wands in reverse. In the sacral we have the Emperor in reverse. In the solar plexus we have the Hierophant. In the heart, we have the 4 of Swords in reverse. In the throat, we have the 9 of Wands. In the third eye, we have the Knight of Cups. And in the crown, we have the 7 of Pentacles. We will save the 8th card for the end of the read, but y'all let me know what you think it might be at any point. Next, we will pull from the Divine Masculine deck. The Divine Feminine, the cards that are already on the table, let us know what the current situation is, the current energies that we're facing. The Divine Masculine lets us know the steps and actions that we can take, what we can do to help manifest our highest timeline in accordance with Spirit. And now, we will begin pulling in the crown. And in the crown, we have the 2 of Swords. In the third eye, we have the High Priestess in reverse. In the throat, we have the Tower. In the heart, we have the Emperor in reverse again. In the solar plexus, we have the 6 of Wands. In the sacral, we have the 10 of Pentacles. In the base, we have the King of Swords. And we are going to save the 8th card for the end of the read, but once again, feel free to drop in the comments down below what you think it might be at any point in time. Alright, quick read of the room. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana. That is some fairly decent energy today. We have 1 cup, we have 1 sword, 1 pentacles, and 3 wands. We are looking at some change. We begin in the crown. This is the awareness of a path. This is the area of hope and despair. What you hope might come true, what you fear might come true. The balance between those is faith, that believing that the next action will be the correct one. You have today the harvest in your crown. Your hope is for the harvest. It is dependent upon a decision, but it is apparently where you're at. This is the current energy. This is your hope. So it may not actually be unfolding, but it is what you want to happen. This is the path of provision. This is the culmination. This is getting your just rewards for the work that you have expended. Some people view this as, is it worth the effort? I don't necessarily, because he has already started harvesting. He's just waiting for the rest. He is taking the time, being patient and acting with faith that the harvest will come in because he has done the work. This is you waiting for your harvest to come in. It is imminent. It is in your future according to your hopes. But there is a choice that you need to make. This is the 2 of Swords. Now, I didn't hit it, but Pentacles are about provision. It is, do you have a home? Do you have a job? Do you have food? Do you have money? Are you provided for? And so this is a harvest of provision. I mean, a job, like getting a raise at work would be a harvest for your hard work. Like getting a new job, even though that would be more of the 8 energy. This is the harvest for your works. This, however, is a choice, a 2, that you are being faced with that you may not have all of the information for. This is a blind choice. This is about a thought, an idea, a communication, combat, because this is swords, and that is what swords rolls. It is the soul and the air energy. And what she is sitting on her throne, facing forward, and she has a hard choice. These 2 swords indicate a hard choice, and she is blindfolded, which may indicate that you are not going to get enough information. There are clouds obscuring the view. She is not fully able to see clearly. And so what we're getting today is that there is an imminent harvest in your hopes, but it is dependent upon you making a decision or that you may not have all of the information for. Next, we go to the decision. Once you are aware there is a path, then it is time to decide. This is the area that deals with sloth and diligence. Sloth is sitting around expecting your dreams to come true. Diligence is working towards your dreams, but maybe just a little bit too hard. And the balance between those is going to be patience. Taking the correct action in the correct time. You have a knight. Knights represent challenges, right? So you have a choice around a challenge currently unfolding in your life. This challenge is related to emotions because this is a cup. And cups are about emotions. It is about connections and emotions. It is body, spirit. It is feeling. It is spousal connections, co-worker connections, friends, family. But it is not the people. It is the emotions and the connections behind it. This is a challenge because all knights are challenges. And he is riding his white horse of victory or assistance into the future, right? Gazing into his cup. He is not running fast. He is taking slow, methodical steps. This is taking the due consideration around emotions, but rising to meet the challenge. And so you are being faced with a choice that is a challenge around emotions. Now, what can you do about that? You have in your active slot, the masculine card is the High Priestess. Now, the High Priestess is a choice. It is a 2. It is a choice in your choice spot, and it is your active card. You are being called to make a choice. That is reiterated. This is the 2 of the major arcana. It is the clarifier for the 9 of Pentacles, so it is related to the higher path of provision. She is seated on her throne of authority between the light and the dark pillars, symbolizing the light and dark sides of nature. She is perfectly balanced between them and able to use either one in the necessary way. She has in her lap the law. She is equally distributing the law in the proper way. Once you have seen the path and made the decision to become the magician, you need to learn the law. That is what she is doing. Right? Now you have this in the reverse. This is a choice that is not you going out to it. That would be the upright. This is the choice that's coming to you, right? This is you rising to meet the choice with the 2 of swords. This is the choice that's coming to you. This is more of an active spot. This is sloth and diligence. This is what you do. Right? It's where you envision your future. And so what she has done is decide to become the magician, and now she is learning the law. This is the same energy, right? It is still a choice. It is at least tangentially related to provision. But this is about making the choice when it comes to you around provision with balance, right? Or maybe even a little bit unbalanced, but that's less of the energy. This is you giving due consideration, rising to the challenge, ploddingly forward. Maybe you don't see everything, and you making a choice about the higher path of authority within your own path of provision. Next, we go to lessons. Once you have made a choice, it's time to learn something. This is the area of the throat the way that you learn something is through communication, right? Either with the world or with any particular person. But this is the area that deals with the throat. This is because of communication. This is the area that deals with pride and humility. Pride is valuing yourself too much. Humility is not valuing yourself enough. And the balance between those is going to be thankfulness. Being thankful that you can do a good job. Understanding that it does not make you better than anyone. You have a 9. This is another choice. Right? Now this is something you have to learn about. It is a choice. This is Wands. Wands is about change and intuition. This is spirit. It is fire. It is life, light, logos. It is change and intuition. And so if it was over here, it might be more of the intuition energy, but this is probably change that you are needing to communicate. The 9 is about making a choice. It is on the higher level, the upper level of provision, the path of authority. And so this is you being faced with a choice. Right now, this is being presented in the upright. And so this is what your current situation is. There is something to learn about this choice. You have a choice that is a little bit obscured, right? You have a choice that is coming to you. Maybe you do not know enough about. This would be getting some of that clarity, right? This could be an intuitive leap that you get to make the choice because of. Maybe it becomes a little bit clearer as we go along. But this is a choice that is coming into your life, right? Current energies faced with a choice around change on a higher level. Now, what is the clarifier? What can you do? You got the Tower. This is sudden change coming into your life that you have absolutely no control about, right? You do get to make a choice, but the change is coming regardless, right? How you deal with the change is what your choice is. How you communicate the change even. This is going to be a 16 card, so it is also a choice. Right? This is going to be the clarifier for, what's that? That's going to be the path of the cups, so that will be the 9 of cups. This would be emotional. Emotions. So this would be an emotional choice, right? Getting knocked out of the Tower, that's pretty emotional. Dealing with the emotions, having a choice to make when everything falls apart. I mean, that's what this is, right? This Tower was reaching up to the heavens. It put on a crown because it was a little bit prideful. Pride. And the divine did not care for that at all and knocked the crown off of the Tower. But in doing so, he also plunged these two people to their doom. One of them is a little bit distressed. The other one does not seem to be all that upset about it. Regardless, they are falling, and it was not through their doing. Everything's coming tumbling down. Everything is changing, and you do have a choice. But the choice is, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with this change? There is 2 choices here in your lesson spot, both of them revolving around change in your life. This is an emotional change. This is just change in general in an authoritative, higher progressive path. And so that is a fairly good indicator that there is a decision around some change in your life, right? And you need to communicate it, right? That's what this is the communication spot. Now, it can be a little bit prideful, but that is not necessarily the energy. The Tower would indicate that, but it would be more so if it was in the feminine card. Next, we go to understanding. Once you have a lesson, you have to understand it so that you can rise to meet the challenge. You cannot rise to meet the challenge until you have the understanding. I mean, you can, but you'll fail. Right? This is about charity and greed because it is interpersonal relationships. It is your core being, who you are. Greed is the love of the mortal coil, just a little bit too much. Charity is the love of the spiritual coil, just a little bit too much, possibly. There's a balance to be stricken between them, and that is generosity, giving appropriately, not clinging to the things, but understanding that you are supposed to have some things. You have here in your understanding spot an understanding card. This is a 4, right? The 4th position, understanding. You got another 4. Understanding. This is the double understanding in your understanding spot. There is something to understand. This is swords. Swords are about thought, intellect. Right? We've already talked about that. This can be communications. If it was over here, I would be more inclined towards communications. This is probably you reaching a thought or an understanding about something internal. This is the meditation card. What is happening is that this guy is upon this bed. This is a church window. This is a place of sanctuary, a place of authority, divine blessing. He is upon his instrument of war, and he has won these 3 instruments of war, and he is contemplating them. Right? He is in a meditative state, trying to understand the path that he is upon, which just happens to be the path of combat and intellect. Now you have this in the reverse for the divine feminine, which indicates that you have not yet reached the understanding, but that there is an understanding that needs to be reached. It is in the reverse. If it is upright, you are reaching the understanding. In the reverse, it is you're not reaching the understanding, but you need to. Right? You have choices to make. Choices lead to understanding. Now, clarifying that with some steps that can be taken, you've got the Emperor. Now, both of these cards in the reverse, that is coming to you energy. The Emperor is on the path of Pentacles. This is a 4, so it's an understanding. This would be the clarifier for the Page of Pentacles. The Emperor is about fruition. It is about understanding what money is, right? The Empress is a little bit less of that. She is making bad financial decisions. She is provided for abundantly, but not necessarily making the best decisions. This is the understanding of money, right? And you learn about it through mistakes, but once you have made the mistakes, you can get the understanding. This is the divine masculine in perfect maturity. No, wrong. When it is upright, this is the divine masculine as immature, as a teenage boy. Maybe he's a little bit aggressive, right? It's not about money to be aggressive. This is in the reverse. This is indicating that you need to make an understanding around money or the path of provision. Maybe come out of your authority a little bit. Possibly there's less of that energy. This does appear to be that there is still an understanding to reach, right? This is an understanding around your thoughts, possibly a communication, right? You do have something to communicate here. And this is also coming to an understanding about a path of provision. Maybe it has something to do with your authority, maybe not. We do have that. Like, you've got this twice, and that is very interesting, right? You've got the emperor, you have a king, and the Hierophant, all presenting in the lower path. And so this energy is really, you need to reach an understanding. It is related to most probably a thought in your path of provision. Next, we go to the challenges that arise in your life. Once you have reached understanding, it is time to rise to meet the challenges in your life. This is the area that deals with your fuel turning into, or your food turning into fuel. It is tied to your solar plexus. This is greed or gluttony and denial. Gluttony is the overconsumption, denial the non-consumption, and neither one is good. The balance is moderation, using the appropriate fuel to get to the appropriate destination. Now, this is a challenge spot. This is a challenge card right now. You have presented here the 2, the 4, and the 5, right? And the Tower, but that's farther down the line. This represents authority. This is a challenge around authority. Possibly even a religious authority. It can be governmental, but that would be better represented by the Emperor. This is, the Pope was the name for this at one point in time. And he is giving his blessing to these 2 priests. Some people look at this as marriage. I do not, because of that, right? This is 2 priests. They did not go to the Pope to get married. That's just not how it works. They go to the Pope to get a job. They go to the Pope, the authority, to get punishment, to get rewards. They get all of that, but they don't get married. And so this is presenting to the authority, submitting to the authority, getting the blessing of the authority. This is in your challenge spot, right? And we have seen quite recently some problems with authority, so this might be related to that, it might not, but there is a challenge around a governmental authority, a religious authority, something along that nature. Like, I don't know the specifics of you, right? I don't know if you are bucking any systems, but this would be an indication of that. But the action is to be victorious, to continue on. This is a 6. That is the overcome the challenge card. It is the next step of progression past the 5. It is growth and nurture, so you are to nurture something about this. And this is victory. He is riding his white horse of victory or assistance into the future, right? He has on his wand of change a laurel of victory, and on his head is also a laurel of victory. This is the victory card to me in the entire tarot. This is your active steps. This is you being victorious over the authority figure. That is the energy that is here, right? There is a challenge around an authority figure. It might be you stepping into authority. We do have indications for that. That is what the Emperor represents. And so this can be you being victorious by stepping into authority, or it's you being victorious challenging the authority. Either way, it is victory. Next, we go to the understanding, right, or the overcoming. Once you have defeated your challenge, you overcome it, and then it is time to grow and nurture before you get to the harvest. This is giving the appropriate energy to get to your destination. This is also interpersonal relationships, but it is also the things you wish to create. You envision your future, empower your future, take positive steps towards it. The things you want to physically create in life, your desires. This can be sexual because it does deal with lust and chastity. Lust is the giving away of physical affection. Chastity is not. The balance is a sacred union, being united with the one person that you are supposed to share your soul with. And you have the Emperor in reverse again. Now, again, this is an understanding around authority, yes, right? Around a monetary thing, yes, you do have a 10 of Pentacles here. Once again, the Emperor is provided for, but this is not your current energy, right? This is what you need to nurture. This is being a little bit stingy. This is being a little bit childish, maybe. Oh, maybe you do need to nurture your childish side. But this is, again, right upright, this is the authority figure. This is the man in charge. The emperor is the guy technically above the kings, but he represents the divine masculine, not matured, whereas the kings develop it, signify it as matured. And so he is seated on his throne of authority. He has his wand of change in his hand, and the globe in the other one, signifying the whole world. He is well provided for. In the reverse, this is less of that energy. Maybe you are not being provided for. Maybe you need to spend some money in an unwise way. Right? If he has understood the lessons and he is not spending money in an unwise way, maybe this is you being just a little bit frivolous. Not a lot, because you do have this 10, and that is a whole different thing. Right? And so this is understanding something about provision. What in particular that is, I don't know, but it is nurturative, right? This is the nurture spot to get to the harvest. What you need to do for your physical generation in order to give the appropriate weeding, watering, and fertilizing, the last steps before the harvest. As a clarifier, you have the 10 of Pentacles, and the 10 of Pentacles is representing generational wealth. That's why I said it was a whole different energy, right? This is a 10, and that is going to be learning. This is learning about provision on a higher authority level. And what do you learn on the higher authority level? Right? You step into your authority, you make the decisions, and then you provide for everyone. That is the lesson from generational, or from the higher authority provisionary path. How to provide for other people. And what we see on the card is that this old man is there. He is with these two, man and wife, and their children and dog, in front of their homes underneath the Arc of Triumph, right? This is victory. This is overcoming financial burdens. This is generational provision, to be able to pass down money. Now, how do you do that? Maybe you are backing out of the emperor might spend a little bit too much as well. This might be you saving money, right? But this is how you nurture. Maybe you nurture by pinching pennies, but that's probably not it. Pinching pennies normally put your focus in the wrong way. This appears to be like not coming to the understanding around the provisionary path, but taking steps about generational provision. Next, we go to the harvest. Once you have weeded, watered, and fertilized, then it is time to harvest your crops. To get your just rewards, these are the things that are coming in. And what do you have? You've got a harvest of change. This is the 7 of Wands, right? Now, the 7 of Wands is a little bit defensive, but this one is in the reverse, so it is not quite at the harvest. The harvest is still imminent, or it would not have been the 7. It is still centered around change, or it would not have been Wands. When it is in the upright, this can be defensive, right? He is in the high ground. He is able to hold off all of these attackers. In the reverse, it's a little bit more aggressive. Maybe your harvest comes from you stepping into some authority. And that is emphasized by the King of Swords. Now, this is the actions that you can take from the divine masculine. And this is the king seated upon his throne with his sword of discernment, right? The clouds are just about gone. He is able to see clearly here at the harvest. This is the divine masculine fully developed. It may be that you need to develop your divine masculine. And if these two are in reverse and this one is standing upright, that actually kind of signifies the same thing, divine maturity, right? If this is the Hierophant, when it is standing tall, is the immature divine, in the reverse, that is going to be the divine matured. This is the same thing. Now, this one is centered around thoughts. Now, you have a chain of thoughts here. You don't see clearly in your hopes and fears, but you do see clearly down here at the bottom. This is making the perfect choices about, right? This divine masculine, fully matured, is making the appropriate choices on how to do things. Now, the sword is about thoughts, intellect. It can be discernment. It is clarity. And so maybe you achieve some clarity in your divine masculine, which allows you to get to the harvest. All right, next we go to the divine. The divine is a direct message from the divine to you. It is not colored by any of the virtues and the vices. The divine has the virtues and vices in perfect balance. Did you leave your guess as to what this would be? I'm going to make mine now. This this appears to be the overarching message here is that you have a choice to make. It is around your understanding, and it is dealing with you being the authority, right? And so this is maybe one of the kings, probably the King of Pentacles. This could be, like, you have the Emperor both out here twice. What else would be a good provision on that? I don't even know. Like, this appears to be that you need an understanding or a choice. So I'm going to go with that. And then this one's going to be you stepping into authority. Well, let's see. There's a harvest of provision and an understanding around an emotional situation. Okay, so we have the Seven of Pentacles. This is keep your head down and continue doing what you are doing, right? This is the next step, or this is the 8, not the 7. And so this is the presentation of a new path in the presentation of a new path. This is keep your head down and keep working. You have the harvest, and once you have the harvest, it is time to invest those proceeds. What do I do with it? You have to find something else to do. The 8 represents the higher path. The presentation of the higher path is authority. This is in provision. He used to work for someone else. Now he's working for himself. And what you see is that he has nailed to the wall 6 things. That is what he has to sell. He has one underneath his feet. That is his future works. And he has one that he is currently working on. He is being diligent. This is doing the same thing with the expectation of the higher path unfolding. And so this, when it presents upright as it is continue doing what you are doing. You are on the right path. You're just waiting for some clarifiers. And with actions that can be taken, you have the manifestation card. Right? This is a 4. 4s are understanding. Right? This was the meditation card with the 4 of Swords. 4 of Cups is the celebration card. This is the manifestation card. What we see here is that he is in a meditative pose underneath the tree of knowledge. And in front of him are 3 empty cups. Now, some people see this as regret. I do not. Because what he has done is take these 3 cups and form one. He has taken his authority, stepped into his meditative practices, manifesting in his life, and he has taken these contents and manifested from the divine the new opportunity, right? The new, this is emotional mostly, but it is not all, right? It is manifestation. It's in the reverse, so this is quit manifesting, right? And maybe you are, like, there is, you request, you invest your energy, but if you do so too much, it is inviting the opposite, right? If you make the request and you're doing it 15 times a day, then maybe you're overplaying your hand. This is don't reach an understanding around an emotional situation as well. It is a cup, it is a 4, and it is in the reverse. This is not making the accommodations for the authority possibly. And so, if we take these 2 cards in consideration of the other things that are on the table, what we're looking at is you are being presented with a new path, but there is still some understanding that needs to be reached. You're being told to keep your head down, to continue doing what you are doing. You are taking the appropriate actions. This harvest is imminent. This change is coming. This is the change as well. This is the presentation of a new path. He is keeping his head down so that he can be the boss in his own position. He is no longer working for someone else. He is facing the future by doing hard work and coming to an understanding around emotions, or maybe doing a little bit less manifesting. That's really a lot less of the energy. It is about the understanding of the emotions, most likely. That's going to bring us to the end of the read, and hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion. If you like what I'm doing over here, let me know down below. Give me a like, a share, a follow, throw me a comment whether you agree or disagree with anything that was stated. Put it in the box down below, and if it remains respectful, it gets to remain up. If you really like what I'm doing over here, hit me with that super thanks. Consider joining for a membership, picking up a copy of my book where I teach you to manifest responsibly, or consulting me directly through the link provided down below. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. God loves you. You are perfect, whole, and complete just the way that you are. And this has been Pitt State. Peace.